Mom pointed at the chirping monitor. Look at her heart rate. She can understand me and she can talk. Why is she saying it like that? Like it's a big surprise. Olivia licked her lips and forced the question from her dry throat. Why wouldn't I be able to talk? Mom sat on the foot of the bed. Because, dear, your injuries were so severe. The brain trauma and your heart. She shook her head, then placed her hands over her own heart, looking like she might start crying. You're our little miracle. Olivia reached up, feeling the tender spots on her head. Her fingers brushed across a row of... Were those little ridges made of metal? Careful. The staples are almost ready to come out, but it's still going to be sore for a while. Staples? Her stomach rolled. I have staples in my head? She lowered her now shaking hand. Can I get a mirror? Mom looked at Dad, then back at her. I don't think that's a good idea. Not until you've healed a little more. Olivia gave 2 slow nods. If only everything weren't so strange. If she could just remember something. Anything. You're healing very well, Dad said. And your heartbeat is strong. That's good. Mom smiled at her. That's because you're amazing. Dad grabbed Mom's hand. Darling, I need to talk to you about something. In the other room. Mom patted Olivia's leg. You just relax. I'll be back in a few minutes. The 2 of them left the room, but when Mom swung the door closed, it didn't latch. Olivia could hear their voices in the hall. I still think we should... She couldn't make out the rest of Dad's muffled words. Know if I can do this. Late for that, Mom said. We'd lose everything, including... Her voice faded as they got farther away. Have to move. She could tell the conversation was tense, but the words were impossible to decipher now. Holding a hand in front of her face, she turned it back and forth. A plastic tube ran from her arm to a machine next to her bed. Weird. Everything was weird. She pulled a strand of her hair forward. Dark brown, like Mom's. But it didn't help her remember how she looked or who exactly she was. She kicked off her covers and stared at her legs. Running her gaze up and down, she assessed the damage. A few bruises and cuts. Her chest felt tight. She peeked into her nightgown and stared in horror at the long red stripe running down her chest. Gross. You're alive. You shouldn't be thinking about looks. She dropped the nightgown, then put a palm over her heart. Ouch. Lowering her hand, she scanned the room. I wonder how my face looks. From the way Dad stared at me, plus the fact that Mom won't let me see a mirror, it must be bad. Brains are more important than looks. That's what ugly people say. Olivia put her hands on her head and squeezed. Stop it, she whispered to her arguing thoughts, hysteria bubbling up and squeezing the air from her lungs. What was happening to her? Why didn't she recognize her parents or know where she was? Who she was? Tears ran warm trails down her cheeks. Just make it all stop. Mom swung the door open and walked into the room. What was that, dear? Olivia swiped the tears off her face. Nothing. Is everything okay? Mom nodded. Of course. I'm going to take some time off from work to help you heal. As soon as we get you recovered enough, we're moving. After everything that's happened, I think we could use a fresh start. Olivia was still too hazy to think about a fresh start. All she knew was that something seemed wrong. Make that everything seemed wrong. So she clung to the hope that she would recover quickly, and that when she did, all the wrongness would go away. Chapter 2. Olivia twisted a strand of hair around her finger as she stared out her bedroom window. Women strode